watershed, and I live on Woods Creek Road. And they did exactly what I think should happen. And they came out and went down through Woods Creek, through our properties and stuff, and took pictures and things, and did a video, and then we gathered the neighbors all together in one of the homes, and they came out and they showed us the things that needed to be done. And they described to us exactly what they needed to do to enhance the fish, so we'd have more fish and all that. And everybody on the road agreed. And I mean, that's what I'm talking about, education and not regulation, because it can be done, and they're continuing to do that as they move on to these other streams, and they're doing an excellent job. And nobody felt threatened. Nobody, on our particular property, we have Cedar Creek that runs down through our property, and we have Woods Creek across the front. And when they came up there and asked if they could go on our property and go on up Cedar Creek, we said sure. And then when they came back down, they told us that in the confines of our property that we had two of the most perfect waters that you could hope for. And so we know that we haven't done anything to that. We had a pile of dirt over near the creek one year, and somebody turned us in because we supposedly did something to the banks of the creek, which we didn't do. But for 2 years, we had to do all these things, and pretty soon this guy from Portland called and said, "Stop! You don't have to do that." Because he took the time to come down and see what it was that was going on, and there was nothing. And so sometimes these anonymous calls that come in can cause a lot of problems. And we need to congratulate the people from the Marys River group, because they really are doing a good job. And I think if we work hand in hand with them, I think we can do a lot in this county without having to feel under pressure.
That's good points all the way around.
I have a request. I was just wondering if you could adapt the style of the meeting so we don't have to break out into the breakout groups, because I feel like I miss out on what other people are saying. And we seem to be a pretty small group. Maybe we could just organize and do them together, because I do want to hear what other people say.
So what I hear your point, and I can understand that. So what I'd like to do is give us a good bunch of time for discussion as a whole group, and I do also want to reserve some time for smaller group discussions, because not everybody feels comfortable talking in front of a whole group, and we need to get input from everybody. So we'll keep going with this
We share all of the notes and comments that are collected at each board, so you can review those too.
Okay, one comment on the get information and views from everybody. I did see on the slide that you mentioned that you had a major plan through several meetings that you had made and community input. And I was wondering, what percentage of the community actually gave you input? Because these two small breakout groups is just I can't even give you the percentage on that. And I don't feel that it's right to base your plan off of this minute percentage of the community. It just doesn't seem right, and it feels the same with the breakout. I feel like it just kind of limits our sharing of information.
Well, this is the public process. We provide many different opportunities, venues, and ways for people to provide input, provide information on our website. We have public meetings like these. We go to group meetings that we're invited to. A whole variety of meetings, and
we have approximately 450 people on our mailing list.
Right. So yes, that's a small percentage of the population, but we can't hold an election for every little thing that not everybody's interested in. So the people who are interested, hopefully, are getting involved. That's what we have to do with all of our issues as members of civil society. We get involved with those issues we're interested in. Interested in your comments and questions.
I'm going to clarify a couple of things, just in my mind, so I can put it all together. After the meeting last time, Greg, I talked with you a little bit about some indicated that the only thing that you would be monitoring would be the vegetative canopy. Is that right? And the thing that confuses me is that tonight I heard Adam say that it's a state requirement for reduction of temperature and bacteria. And the goals and objectives, one of them says that it's to protect water quality, fish and wildlife habitat. And it raises the question, are we going in one direction, DEQ is going into another, and somewhere down the line, DEQ drops the hammer?
Describe to me what you mean by the two directions.
Well, they're monitoring, are they monitoring something more than what we are monitoring, if vegetative canopy is all that we are monitoring?
I don't know what all they will be monitoring. Presumably, they will be doing some monitoring of the water quality parameters. The difficulty with Benton County taking on monitoring of water quality parameters, the temperature, bacteria, and mercury, is we're responsible for only a small portion of those factors. So the temperature and bacteria and mercury inputs that go into the stream come from a whole host of sources, only a small portion of which does Benton County have any jurisdiction over. Agriculture, we don't. Forestry, we don't. Industrial discharges, we don't. So if we're monitoring those things, we can't, if we're monitoring water quality, we can't tie those back to our activities. What we can tie back to our activities, meaning activities that we permit through building permits and so on, is vegetation removal. We can see, with the building permit, okay, this is what happened on this property, vegetation was removed. We need to make contact there. So that's why we're taking this approach.
And you did explain last time that when you issue a building permit in the RR zone, that there will not be conditions connected to this program, that you may offer some kind of an educational information. Is that correct? Okay. I do have also a clarifying question on the LiDAR. I'm not real familiar with it, other than I know that it's some kind of imagery. Everything that I've seen that Benton County has put out, it's always got a 2008 date behind it. Does that mean that that is the latest that they have?
So that's going to be utilized for the baseline vegetation that this is the starting point of getting that high resolution, 1 square meter imagery and getting vegetation heights from that. But currently, as I mentioned, from 2011, we have countywide high resolution LiDAR imagery, and then each year we're seeing better and better aerial photography, aerial imagery that can be utilized as well.
So we're not going to be held to what existed in 2008. I think that may be your concern.
No, that's not my question. You're going to start with 2008.
We're going to start with that and then
As a
update it.
baseline, I
And then
understand.
update it based on the photography that we've got more recently.
Through Benton County.
Through Benton County or a variety of sources, yeah.
What other sources are you using?
Well, Benton County has not flown aerial photography in 8 years because other
Right.
sources have done it. The latest stuff we got was Google imagery.
Do you ever get anything out of whack out of Eugene? They fly it every year.
Yeah, we haven't had a need to buy aerial imagery because we've been getting it from other
Well,
sources.
don't use Google.
Well, there's several others. There's National Agricultural Imagery Projection. There's several satellites that provide imagery for free.
So wouldn't you want to start your baseline data, these aerial photographs, with when this program is approved rather than 2008?
But it's beneficial to utilize that because of just how high resolution it is, and it'll give you an idea of what kind of changes have happened before was the thinking.
Right. But if you're measuring changes after this is adopted, you'd want to compare to
Right, we'll be comparing
2013 or